Destiny 2 has lost its darker, deep fantasy tone that it used to have. And I gotta admit, guys, for me, I love those darker games. And I want Destiny 2 to go into that darker fantasy. It's such an interesting genre for a game, being sort of that sci-fi, MMO shooter, all that type of stuff. But having that sort of dark, deep fantasy aspect is what really drew me into Destiny 1. And with Destiny 2, there has been some aspects where it's been very similar to that of Destiny 1, but it still fumbled the bag really hard. One of the big examples that I really started to see was back when Destiny 2 first released in 2017. After me playing Destiny 1, The Taken King, and Rise of Iron, and the whole Destiny 1 game, I really started to like how its aesthetic was, this darker, ominous place that we didn't really, understand, and it was super interesting to me. And when Destiny 2 released, they sort of started it strong. Gaul attacked the last city. The tower was obliterated. You were separated from the Vanguard. And it was this very interesting time where you finally lost the light. You lost. And when you went out into the wilderness for the first time, into Earth with no powers, no cringy dialogue, and just trying to figure out what to do with yourself, it felt so good. It felt so smooth in a way to me. It felt that there was this darker game, and that in no way, shape, or form that we were always going to be able to have our superpowers constantly wherever we went. And that's what I loved. That's what I started to love. But then Bungie gave us our powers a couple missions later from a shard of the Traveler, and then a couple missions later, the entire tone of the game sort of shifted with failsafe Cade 6 being introduced back into the story. And of course I love Cade 6, he's amazing. But the tone of this dark EDZ place that we first went to as our first, major destination, and the farm and all this, was then changed to Nessus being this vibrant Vex location. Then Io being sort of a vibrant location. And then after that, sort of it became sort of, as Curse of Osiris Warmind came out, it got more darker, and it was more like, oh, okay, it's more just that it's just not dark. You know what I mean? I don't really know how to explain it, but if you went and watched the Curse of Osiris Warmind cutscenes, which I gotta tell you, there wasn't a lot, and you saw the story that was unraveling with those two little DLCs, it wasn't, one, an interesting story, and two, it was not feeling a Destiny 1 type story. It was just feeling like, okay, here's a side quest, go and do that. When Forsaken hit, the game changed drastically. It fixed a lot of the issues that Destiny 2 previously had and all that, and it gave that darker tone. It actually, really placed out in the game that, yes, death is alive, and it killed Cade 6 and Aldrin in this huge space that we live in, and it really gave us something to think about. Shadowkeep came into the game, and obviously we see some of that sort of darker tone, and I did like that. And then one of the major expansions, the Witch Queen, really went into the darker tone, which I really liked. It was amazing. And we really got to see the big bad of the Destiny universe, which was the Witness. But then, for some odd reason, we got Lightfall. And that, by all means, was not the expansion I was hoping for when it was announced back in Beyond Light's showcase. I gotta admit, guys, that expansion, since that reveal, when they revealed Lightfall, I was like, what the heck is going on with Neomuna and Strand? What the heck was going on with the aesthetic? And even besides that, if the expansion was supposed to be sort of final shape, and it probably was, and all that, all the content got cut, whatever it was, the whole Neomuna thing was not the way to go. They could have placed the veil somewhere different, they could have done somewhere different, and it was just not the right place. The Savathûn Throne World was one of the best destinations. I loved it way more than I loved Neomuna because of how dark it was. Just the aesthetic of it was amazing to me. Even though it was empty at times, it was amazing. But then, we are getting this new destination in the final shape, which is the Pale Heart. Which I sort of see a mix of that sort of darker tone, but also a lot of the nostalgic pieces from Destiny 1 and some of the vibrant stuff that we also saw. And what I mean by vibrant, you're probably wondering, what do you mean, Redrix, by vibrant? You're not making any sense. When I say vibrant, I sort of mean in a way that it's the way that the land and that the assets are structured is not as I'm going to sound really weird by saying this. It's not as, like I said earlier, as dark as the things that we saw in Destiny 1. Destiny 1, you really go out and you just see that the world just feels so natural. And in Destiny 2, the assets that are in the game feel so static. I know that many of you are probably wondering what words I'm using. Maybe some of you are understanding. I don't know. But you're probably seeing the sense that the game in Destiny 2 feels like, okay, you're in sort of an arcade. Or you're playing this like sort of retro game. Destiny 2 did not feel that. It felt so much more open-ended, an open world to go explore. And Destiny 2 has really fumbled that. And I don't know really what to explain. The open world destinations feel the same way. The Cosmodrome, Venus, the Moon, they felt much more natural than the places we got in Destiny 2. Io, Nessus, Europa. It feels empty, yes, but it doesn't feel that sort of flavor as Destiny 1 did. It didn't feel that much more darker tone. It didn't feel as amazing as that sort of idea that, oh my gosh, not a whole entire waypoint's going to be point inside on your screen and you're going to be told where to go. Destiny 1 was acted more of like, okay, go and do it yourself. Explore. Make it your journey. Don't have a stupid, compass telling you where to go nonstop. Let the player discover the world. And that's what I also loved. And it's really annoying to always see Bungie sort of make the idea that, yes, let's start to introduce the model. Like, let the Guardian explore where we're going next. Don't let the huge GPS tell us where we're going. And then they put a GPS right in the second picture of the screen, and then there you go. It's annoying. I want that darker fantasy tone. I want the unknown feeling that, hey guys, I don't even know where the hell I'm going. I want to feel that. I want to feel the enemies be more scarier, man. The Hive doesn't feel as scary as they used to be. The Hive in Destiny 1, man, that was scary to me. I don't even know if we are getting a new enemy race, but if we are, I want them to be scary, man. I want them to be like this black goo type, venom type idea where they're like really freaky. I don't want any Cabal creatures. I gotta admit, guys, when it comes to the Cabal, they're probably the most lamest character to me. Lamest race. Because they're just not as threatening and they just look like rats. That's how IHE put it. IHE put it. That's how I'm going to put it. I really want to see this more into a sphere where we're placed in where we're unsure. I feel like we're always sure of what's going to happen next, obviously, because we're playing a video game and there's going to be details of what's going to be happening next in the game or the next expansion. But I want that unknown journey. I want that. And I want the Witness to really place us in a sphere where we lose in the final shape in some way before we win. Obviously, we're going to win because it's the final shape and there's going to be another saga. But I want to see us lose somewhere. I want to see the Witness really do a devastating blow. I really want to see this sort of end game that we've been, leading up towards for the last year. But I want to also see sort of a weird time where we are going to be at the beginning, right? Remember at the beginning of the Endgame movie, Avengers Endgame, for the first hour or so, it's like we're trying to reconcile with everything. We've been always placed in the sphere where, okay, we have to keep on fighting, we have to keep on fighting, we have to keep on fighting, which is, yes, that's true. We're Guardians. We got to do what's best for the humanity. But we need to take a minute. We need to understand that, guys, we've lost. And we need to figure out how to, win back, obviously. But what's that mean for us, the Guardian? We feel so, ominous. I don't know how to say the word. We just feel so distant from all the other characters in the game. I want us to be a character in the game. I don't want us to be just a person that shoots things and not in the cutscene anymore. I want us to be a character again. I want us to be a person where people can be like, okay, this guy's what everyone is looking at. It's like, holy crap. And yes, we've been told that countless times throughout the game, throughout the stories and expansions we've done. But sometimes we don't even hear our voice beyond end. Sometimes we're not there. We're just there to look at a story of a game, which is obviously true. But shouldn't we be inside that story? Should we? Or should we not? Let me know your thoughts on today's video. I know it was a little bit different. I had an idea and I wanted to place it together. I know it wasn't the best video as I was just rambling, but there's some pieces in here that I really want you to capture by. Are we supposed to live in this world that Bungie has created and make it sound more of a playful world? Shouldn't it be unknown? Shouldn't it be like a treacherous world where anything is possible and that there's so much to this world that we haven't uncovered yet? And shouldn't it be darker? That's what I really want Bungie to do in the next saga.